This triad, for triad, is all about graphing. So the next 6 weeks, every topic that we talk about in here is going to relate to graphing. When you start about graphing, we need to start with the introduction. The introduction to graphing. Graphing is done on the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is basically 2 number lines. You have one, the basic number line, that runs from left to right, and then another number line that's going to go from up to down. What's that called when something runs from left to right?
X.
What direction is that?
Parallel?
Okay, or it starts with an H.
Horizontal.
Horizontal. Then the line that runs up and down is going to be
Vertical.
vertical. Some of the terms that you guys are going to need to be aware of. First thing, the coordinate plane. We're going to graph on the coordinate plane. Okay? The coordinate plane has 4 quadrants. Okay? So this is going to be quadrant 1. And when you're doing the coordinate plane, you count counterclockwise. So if this is quadrant 1, this is going to be quadrant what? Then, okay. Terminology. We're going to talk about the x-axis, the y-axis, and the origin. The x-axis runs which direction? Do you guys remember? Some of this should be review. And if you don't remember, that's okay. That's why we review. So the x-axis runs which way? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. So if the x-axis is this right here and it runs horizontally, our y-axis is going to be what then? It's going to run vertical, which is up and down. The next term that we're going to talk about that's going to be really important is called the origin. Raise your hand if you've heard the term origin before. Okay, can somebody explain it to me though? You want to give it a shot, Kyle?
It's like the center of something?
Yeah, perfect. So the origin is the center of something. So what's the origin going to be on my coordinate plane? Where they intersect, right? So your origin is going to be 0, 0. Your x is 0, your y is 0. So let's fill out some of our note sheet here. So terminology. Go ahead and write this down on your note sheet. So it's right at the top. So you're going to do a couple things here. The first thing you're going to do is make sure you label your y-axis. You label your x-axis. Then on the right side, x-axis is the horizontal, y-axis the vertical, and then the origin is where the x and the y intersect. And then you might want to draw a line, like I did on my note sheet, to identify where the origin is. You're going to have to remember that word because every time we go to graph, I'm going to ask you, where do I start? And every single time, you're going to tell me to start at the origin. What? I can't make it bigger. You can't see it in there. Why don't you come and set for today, Jalen, yeah, for today, set in Kaylon's seat, and then I'll get you a seat closer.
I know, it's just your hand right.
Let's get it down.
When is our next break?
Come on task. On task. Shh.
I know how to do Y, but I don't know how to do X.
Okay, good. We'll get there. All right. Okay, so the next thing that we need to talk about is ordered pairs. Ordered pairs are what you're going to use to know what you're supposed to graph. Ordered pairs, so every ordered pair has, well, what is this called right here? An ordered pair. So every ordered pair has how many numbers? 2 numbers. They're separated by a what? So what's this ordered pair separated by? What are they? Comma. And they are inside of, what are they inside of here? Parentheses. Yeah, so every ordered pair has 2 numbers. They're separated by a comma, and they are inside parentheses. When we go to do function tables next week, and you write your ordered pairs in your function table and you don't put your parentheses around them and you don't separate them with a comma, I'm not going to count that as a correct answer because that doesn't represent an ordered pair. That just represents a bunch of numbers you're putting in a chart. So make sure you put your parentheses around it and you separate it with a comma so I can identify what you want your ordered pair to be. Okay.
Go back to that.
I will in just a minute. Okay, so the next part. When we're doing ordered pairs, the first number is always the blank coordinate and tells us to move blank or blank. What do you guys think? So the first number in the ordered pair is always in reference to our
X.
X. Yeah, I heard two people say it. So X coordinate. So if we're on our X coordinate, remember our X coordinate goes horizontal? That's going to tell us to move which directions? Left or right. Then the second number
Y.
is the Y. And that's going to tell us to move
Up.
or
Further.
down. Good. What I would do if I were taking notes right now, on top of my ordered pair where it says 2, 5, I would go ahead and I would put an X above the 2 and I'd put a Y above the 5 just as a visual reminder that this is X and this is Y. Okay? Y'all got him? All right. So let's take a look at our examples. Hey, can you flip to the other side for me, please, Michael? Okay, so let's look to the other side. So the first thing you're going to identify are your ordered pairs. What's your ordered pair for this first example? 2, 4. Okay? The 2 is referencing towards the X or the Y? The X. Sorry. It's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to have to find a way to, like, mute it. So, and then the 4 represents the which axis?
The Y.
The Y.
Y. I already done this.
So when I go to graph, you're going to start where?
The bottom. On the side. No.
I'm going to start right here?
No, the middle.
The middle. What's that middle called?
Origin.
The origin. So we're going to start at the origin. So now our X, remember, we're going to move left or right. Now, because it's a positive 2, think of it as a number line. Because it's a positive 2, am I going to move right or am I going to move left?
Right.
Right. How many places am I going to move? So I'm going to move 2 to the right. Now, I'm not going to plot my point there because I'm not done. Oops. I don't know what I did there.
What are we talking
Don't do what I just did.
Yeah, that's I helped you out a little.
Why? Why was what I did wrong?
Because look,
I didn't start where?
You didn't start from the origin.
I didn't start from the origin.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move to the right 2 spots.
Dot to dot.
What's my y-axis? What's my y? 4. So am I going to go up 4 or down 4?
Up.
I'm going to go up 4. This is where I'm going to plot my point. So I'm going to plot my point right there. So that's going to represent the ordered pair 2, 4. You don't have to draw these lines like I did. The only reason why I drew those lines was to show you where I was moving on the coordinate plane. Okay? So you can just plot the point, and that's fine too. All right, let's look at the next example. The next ordered pair I'm going to look at is 2, negative 2. So 2, negative 2. Okay, so Jalen, you say you got this. Where do I start?
The origin.
So I'm going to start at the origin.
Yeah.
And the 2 is my X or Y.
X.
And then the negative 2 is my,
Y.
okay? So I'm going to start at the origin, which is right here. And I'm going to move 2 places on my x-axis. So am I go left or right? How many places?
2.
1, 2. Then my y is negative 2.
You gonna go down.
So I'm going to go down because negative on my y-axis is down. So 1, 2. So I went over 2, down 2. I'm going to plot my point. When I plot my point, if you guys notice, I plot it right where the grid lines intersect. It means where the grid lines cross one another. All right, moving right along. So if I gave you a quiz on this right now, thumbs up if you'd ace it. Thumbs in the middle if you do all right. Thumbs down if you'd be like, Okay. All right, next example. We have our ordered pair, -4 and 1. My ordered pair, what comes first? Y or X? And then my Y. Okay? So, Danielle, when I go to graph, where do I start every single time? Okay, so I'm going to start at my origin, which is where the X and Y axis intersect. And my X is -4. So I'm going to move right or left on my X axis. Now it's a -4. Think of it as like a number line. If we move right, it's positive, right?
Oh, left.
So I'm going to move left how many spots? 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what's your Y?
1.
Okay, and that's a positive one, right? So am I going to move up or down because it's positive?
Down.
If I move down, it's going to be
1. Up and up.
up. That's right. So that's where I plot that point. So just a couple things to remember. When you move to the right on the x-axis, it's positive. When you move to the left on the x-axis, it's negative. When you move up on the y-axis, it's what, you guys? When you move up on the y-axis, it's positive. And when you move down on the y-axis, it's negative. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the last example on the front page here.
I already got it.
All right, Michael, tell me where to start. Here, why don't you show me on that? So where am I going to start?
The X.
Where's that called?
Right.
What's that called? That spot in the middle.
Centers.
The center? What's the center called? Origin. Okay? So you're going to start at your origin. Now, your x is 0, so what do you do?
Put it in the middle.
Yeah, it just stays there for your x. So then what do you do for your y, Michael? Don't count on your x. So we said our x is 0.
I know.
So the x doesn't move, does it? It stays in the origin. Our y is,
2, 3.
and he counted down y.
Right there.
Why did you count down, Michael?
To keep track of it.
To keep track of it, but why didn't we count up instead? What
Because
type of...
the up is positive, the down is negative.
There you go. Nice. Questions?
Oh, man.
All right, flip your sheet over once you have those all down. Go ahead and start plotting these. Now, what do you notice about each of these ordered pairs on the back side? What do you notice about each of these ordered pairs?
Someone got negative.
Okay, what else do we notice? What's the direction say?
Letters.
Plot and label each of the points below. So what that means is you're going to plot the ordered pair 3,
You're gonna put the label.
5, and then right next to it, you're going to put the letter A next to it. That way you can identify what was plotted, okay? So go ahead and take, it's 9:02, take 3 minutes to plot as many of the points as that you can, and then we'll go through and we'll check your accuracy. We'll check to see how you're doing. So I have Messenger, but I don't know how to find it. Because Mr. Richardson was messaging me.
Do you have the,
Nope, that's
if I
right
could
here.
look at through your email, or
Right side
do you have
positive.
like a Hangout app?
Yeah.
The green, what's the green,
That's not mine. I'll find it. Okay, so let's take a look at it. The first thing, when you look at your coordinate plane, if your axes are not labeled, you want to label them, okay? So my coordinate plane here is not labeled, so I need to label it. So what I mean by label it, I want to identify what my x-axis is and where my y-axis is. So my x-axis runs which way, you guys? Horizontal or left to right. So I'm going to label that x. My y-axis runs which way? Up and down, which is? What's the other word for up and down? Vertical. So I'm going to label that y. Now, my ordered pair, which letter comes first every single time? X, then y. So let's look at this first point I'm going to plot, which is A. When I go to graph, I start at the origin every single time. Now, when I plot a point, it's only going to have one spot that I'm going to put that dot, that I'm going to put that point. So I'm going to start at my origin. Now, I always do X first. So X means I'm going to go left or right first, then I'm going to go up or down. So what's my X for A? So I'm going to go left or right 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to plot finish graphing using my Y. What's my Y? 5. Positive 5, right? So am I going to go up or down? So from my X point, I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where I plot point A. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, next to that point that I just plotted, I'm going to label it. What do I label it? What do I name it? A. So I went over 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my first ordered pair. Now I'm going to plot my second ordered pair. Negative 9, 4. What does that negative 9 represent? The x-axis. So I start at the origin. My x-axis is negative 9. So am I going to go left or right? How many spots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then what's my y? Positive 4, right? So I'm going to go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to label that B. Okay? The next order pair that I'm going to plot is C. So again, I start where? The origin. What's my x-axis? Okay, so it's positive 9. So am I going to go left or right? So I'm going to go right 9 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what's my y? Negative 8. So am I going to go up or down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See if I can remember that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it was right there. And I label that C. Good. All right, so now I'm going to call on you. When I call on you, you're going to tell me where to start. And you're going to tell me which direction to go. Who would like to do letter D? Okay, Alex, where do I start? Okay, so I start at the origin. And I'm doing the x first, right? So x runs left and right. What's my x value? What's my x value? Oh, yeah. Did you guys notice that, like, Mr. Betts and I can't say our alphabet in order there? Anybody else notice that? Okay, so you want to do D first and then come back to E just to keep in. You'll do E? Okay. So I start at the origin. What do I do? To the right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then what? Why do I say right there? You're absolutely right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why do I say there again? Because the y is 0. And I label that E. I know. Every year we get to this, and we're like, oh yeah, let's fix that. And then the next year rolls around, we're like, oh yeah, we forgot to fix that. So, okay. After E, we have point D. Volunteer to do point D. Okay, so I'm going to start calling on people. Daisha? Now wait, where do I start?
Oh,
Because if you just tell me 3 left, I could like start here and just go 3 left. But I can't do that. So I start where? Okay, so I start at the origin and I go,
over 3.
because it's a negative, then what do I do?
Right?
Yeah, because the y is 0, I'm going to keep it right there and label it. All right, who has letter F? AJ? Wait, hold up. Go down 6. So I'm going to start at the origin, but my x is 0, so I'm not going to move anywhere on the x axis. And then I'm looking at my y, and it's negative 6. And because it's negative, as AJ says, I'm going to count down 6 and label that.
Where's the slash?
Okay. G. Can you do this one? All right, Damon, letter G. Where do I start? In the middle. Now, I always start with my what? Which axis do I always start with? So if I always start with my x, so I'm going to go to the left side 8 because it's negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then what?
Then go down 8.
Then I go down 8. Good. And I label it, is that G? And the last one, letter H. Jaden. So, I was going through the roster yesterday. How do you think I said your name? It stuck with me. All right, where do I start, Jaden? I start where? I always start at the, and then I go down? I always start with X, right? What's my X? We're in letter H. So I'm going to go left how many spots?
4.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, then what? Yeah, I say put, right? Because my Y is 0. And I label it H. Oh, wait. Nope. The bottom part. So go ahead and make sure you have all these points labeled and plotted. And now the bottom part, we're going to create something. So after we plot these points and we connect the points together, you're going to create a picture. Okay? Now, just a second, hold that thought. How many of you guys understand at this point that I'm really picky about how I like to see work done? Okay, so this is where you're going to see my extraness come out. When we go to plot these points, so according to my directions, it says plot each of the points, then use a ruler or your ID or the edge of a folder, etc. to connect the points in each pair. So what we're going to do, we're going to plot this ordered pair. Then we're going to plot this ordered pair, and then we're going to connect those 2 points by using a straight edge. Meaning, if I see you free-handed, meaning if I see you just trying to draw that perfect straight line from each point, I'm going to purposely come over and bump your desk and make you mess it up and redo it all. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, we got to do
But I am going to take points off. So if you turn a quiz or a test or a homework assignment into me, and those lines are not crisp and neat and straight, I will not accept it. So when you are told to use a straight edge, connect the points. Ooh, that ID is dirty. When you connect the points, use the edge of your ID. So this is the one time in your life in this class, I'll let you take your ID off. Use a ruler. Ooh, I usually have rulers out. You can use a ruler if you want to use a straight edge. How many of you guys want a ruler?
Let me hold a rule.
Me?
Let me hold a rule.
Mr. McFarland will come around and pass out rulers
Give me
if you want a ruler. You can keep that ruler. I don't think it'll fit in your front bag, but you can keep it in the front pocket so you have it. Okay? All right, yes. Oh, we're going to stay on task. All right, guys, hey, this isn't time to talk. Now listen. Anytime you get a coordinate plane, the first thing that you should look to see is if the coordinate plane is labeled. Is this coordinate plane labeled? No. So I'm going to label the X and Y axis. What do I label this spot here? That's my what axis? That runs up and down. Kelly? Vertical, which is what? Which? Y. There we go. Okay. So then the line that runs horizontal over here is going to be my x-axis. Now, if you notice, where the lines intersect, the origin, it's not in the middle of our quadrant plane. That's okay. The origin does not have to be in the middle of the quadrant plane. It can be anywhere, but you'll know where to identify where the origin is because it's where the y and the x intersect. So our origin is actually going to be over here this time. So it's where the axis intersect. That's my origin. So we are going to start by plotting the first order pair, which is 1, 1. So we do our x and our y. So each ordered pair is always x, then y. So I'm going to plot 1, 1. So I come to my origin. My x is 1, my y is 1. So I go over 1, up 1. So I plot that point. Over 1, up 1 for 1, 1. Okay? So what I do when I'm doing these pictures, once I do one of the ordered pairs, just kind of draw a line through it so I know I'm done with it. So then I'm going to go to my next ordered pair. My next ordered pair is 3, 5. So I start at my origin. My x is 3, so I go to the right 3. And then my y is 5, so what do I do?
Go up 5.
Go up 5, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now,
Then you draw the line.
this is where you draw the line. That's right. When you draw the line, I want to see you use your ruler, your ID, the edge of your binder. I want to see a straight edge. Now, I don't have a straight edge on my iPad, but I do have a line that is a straight line. I will do my best to connect these two. Now, when we're doing line segments, okay? So I don't want that line to go through your endpoints, okay? I want it to be a line segment. So I want it to end where each point is plotted.
You finna keep doing this or we can do it by ourselves?
You can do it by yourself. You're almost so close. You're close, not quite there. Okay, now, this is the main thing you need to know. You're not now going to connect this with this, okay? You're only connecting this to this. Then you're connecting this to this. So you're not connecting the end to the beginning. You're only connecting these two, then these two, then these two. Once you're done with your picture, or once you're done plotting all your points and drawing all your straight lines, you're going to end up with a picture. Okay? So, nope, not yet. Your homework's even more fun than this. So, you have two choices. You can either plot with me or try to work ahead to see what you end up with. Okay? So the next one, I have 6, 1 and 6, 5. So I'm going to start at my origin. What do I do? For my first order pair, I go over 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1. Okay? Oops, I have the wrong line. Damon, watch your talkouts. Okay, so I'm done with that. Then the next one is going to be 6, 5. So since my 6 is on my X, I know just to come right back here, right? This time I'm going to count up how many? 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do I do with these 2 points that I just plotted? Connect them. Using a straight edge. And then I'm going to show that I'm done with that. Nope. As I have said, you only connect this point to this point. So each row is the only ones that you connect. Okay? I know. So if you guys want to continue talking when you're not supposed to, I'm going to end up taking your time at the end of class. This worksheet, I originally had put that it is due on Friday. That's not going to be true. It's going to be due on Monday, okay? So I'm going to pass this out. This is going to be due on Monday. 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 You're not. You're supposed to connect this to this, 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 this to this. So once you connect just those, it'll create the picture for you. You just gotta. You just have to do it in short steps. I know you always like to have that big step done at once, but they're full of short little steps.
You're keeping the rulers, right?
Yes, so we're not packing up yet.
Honey, you wait for your, yeah. You can bring that stuff with you, Kyle.
I'll help you grab that one in just a second. So, the rulers you're keeping, just put it in the pocket of your folder. So let's look at this next one here, you guys. So we have 6 and 3, so I go over 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I go up 3, 1, 2, 3. Right there. What's my next order pair then? 8 and 4. So I go over 8, then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's kind of a weird spot to plot those 2 points, but when I connect them, it'll look like that.
Oh, you don't got my bike.
I don't know where yours is.
Mr. Bass.
Okay.